Good morning, Earthlings. That sounds really funny, right? Good morning, Earthlings. I was pondering that thought. Good morning, Earthlings, because all the craziness that's going on and in the world, and this has been going on since forever. I mean, and I was born in the late '50s, and there was always some kind of stuff going on between humans fighting and all the old programming and I'm this and you're that and my space, this is my world, or this is my town and you don't belong here, and all this kind of stuff. And I believe that with the energy coming into the planet now, there's an awakening for Earthlings, for humans, because we are all part of this planet and we are bigger. Our souls are bigger than the programs that and the boxes that societies, through fear and anger and hate and control, most of all, and that's being exposed at this time. The control in our institutions, in our governments, in our groups, our control on the population to, in a way, enslave people in believing that they're limited, that they have to work all these crazy hours to survive. And yes, we still have to be accountable to the systems as they are presently, but that is changing, as you can see. I believe that COVID put a stop on that, and a lot of people woke up and found through, and being fortunate enough to have the technology, that these inventions that come forward where people can work out of their homes and create their own way of living and their own lives. And all the information that's coming through that used to be hidden from us, that now we realize and can see that things aren't what they seem. And you can see it now, how fragile everything is becoming. But I'm really getting is these programs and the hate that's been transferred on from generation to generation, hurts that people have conquered other people, and now those lands have been priced out of where they can live because of other people's moving in and taking over their properties and so forth, and gentrification and things like that. So my thoughts are, we have to get to a place where we have to consider ourselves one people's part of this whole planet, that we are just souls that come here in schoolroom earth to learn, to grow, to feel the polarity of positives and negatives, and to overcome those. We have to step out of that to see the bigger picture of what's really happening. Why do we come here on a planet? And this is what I had to look into for myself, because we all have our journeys and our perspectives and our journeys and our contact with the physical life as high dimensional souls that come into these physical bodies, and we use them for a short time to experience life. And the common denominator that keeps us all together is love, the vibration of love. And in love you have compassion and care and all the things that come through love. And on the other side you have fear and anger, and you've been taken advantage of, or pushed out of your home. That's why I believe even the earth, the frequency of the earth is changing, and you're having so many weird weather patterns and floods and things like that. It's painful, it hurts, but it actually brings people together. But now they can't fight no more. You got to help your neighbor because everybody's in the same boat, right? There's a catastrophe, and everybody has to get unified. It's really unbelievable what has transpired with the human consciousness. But the beauty of all this is that we are waking up, and people are changing, and we could see the hypocrisy of what's really happening. And in that, we have to look at ourselves. If we're holding on to any of these old programs of hate that's come down through generations, Like myself, I'm Puerto Rican, and the American government took advantage of Puerto Rico during the Spanish-American War back in the 1800s. And it really enslaved the island and took all the resources and just sucked it dry. And it was a tragedy. And to this day, they're a colony, and you know, I'm second generation. I'm an American here, but I could see what has happened. If you go further back in history, when the Spanish went over and the Europeans came over to Puerto Rico and just decimated the population of indigenous people. It's tragedy. It's terrible. And we have to start thinking in those ways as people. We have to move first with love and compassion, and bring love to the surface of how we navigate our lives. And in doing so, then we acknowledge a higher frequency inside ourselves, because you are who you attract, right? So what you put out is what you get. We hear these cliches, and it's true. What you put out is what you get. So if you put out fear and you're worrying and you're worried about where you're going to live and what's going to happen, you're going to get more of that. You put out love, magic starts to happen. We learn how to separate our head from our heart and move with your heart, and that intelligence of the heart that connects to source. That's what the connection is. The head's just going to keep on telling you about the program and all the boxes you've lived in, and the heart is going to help you step out and see a bigger picture, as if you were driving a car on the freeway and you had the ability to float out of your car for a second and see what's in front of you, so you know how to navigate your travels. That's what happens when you go into the heart. And in this way, we could all learn how to just accept people where they're at. You know, if you see somebody that you don't care for the way they're acting or whatever, you take a higher perspective and you bring in higher energy. You don't have to deal with them, but you hold that higher presence, and they won't deal with you. Don't go there. Don't allow yourself to get into the fight. Step out of it. See it from another perspective. And what happens is, what you put out is what you get. You'll start co-creating a higher frequency, so then higher vibrating souls will be there as you walk the planet and do your daily events, your daily travels, and then things go smoothly. But you don't get hung up. Sometimes you'll run into traffic, so just chill out, you know. I think sometimes the people in traffic is so hard because everybody who's stuck in traffic, all these cars are negative. There's negative energy, and it builds up on the freeway, and everybody's pissed off, you know. Obviously, they gotta be somewhere, but sometimes there's the reason. Sometimes I've been many times. I've been in a rush and I want to get going, and something stops me, and I'm 5-10 minutes late. And thank God, because I get on the freeway and there was a massive accident that I would have been right in the middle of. So I take it a moment, a second, day by day, and that creates an awareness, a synchronicity of good things to come into my life. I try not to allow myself to get into the negatives of the negative thinking and those negative potentials that I don't want to co-create. I don't want to bring forth. So I also do my daily practices. I do grounding daily and meditation daily to raise my vibration and my frequency, so I can co-create at a higher perspective daily. I think that's so important. It's a muscle that you have to practice as you do it daily. So then now we're living every day a full day. Every day with the outlook at, if this is my last day on this planet, how would I act? What would I do? Who would I love? Will I laugh? Will I cry? What's really important? If this is the last day, am I going to hold on to the old tape in my head that I'm not worthy and criticizing myself? That also happens. You're beating yourself up. You're You're very critical of yourself, and then you're projecting it on other people, and then Mr. Critical or Mrs. Critical comes along, and now you get into it with those people. And they just need a little sprinkle of love, and maybe it might change their energy and help them have a better day. Now, they may not be consciousness of what's really happening in their heads, but just walking past them, your energy field will brush up against them and make a difference. And that's so important. That's so important. I think that's more important than anything else, that if you could do anything in your day, is expand your energy and visually see it with your imagination as you have this energy bubble that surrounds your body, and everybody you come in contact, even as you're driving, the person next to you, breathe that energy in. If there's an accident, try not to look at it like, oh my God, and you get into the drama of it. As you're passing the accident, expand your energy and throw love there. So whatever is happening could have a higher perspective, a higher frequency of love for a better outcome. Start throwing love bombs everywhere you can. But the work has to come from you first, inside of you, to work on your own stuff, because we're getting to a point on the planet that we have to clean up our own house inside of ourselves and deal with our own issues from our past. It'll come up like waves, and look at it. Don't squash it. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to go see somebody, talk to a therapist or whatever, go for a walk. Do something that you're passionate about. Find your passion and bring that forward to deal with the pain that you might be carrying from maybe some injustices you've had in your past. Because in that you'll find greatness, you'll find magic, you'll find beauty in that pain, because it'll help you see a higher perspective of why. Oh my God, I can see why, if I look at it this way, why I went through those things, and now I could maybe help somebody else who's in the same situation. Become a teacher or something, or a coach or a mentor. We're all part of this earth. We are Earthlings. We are part of the earth, as in our physical bodies, but we are one with the source. There's many ways to get there. People have their ways of dealing or entering or communing with source. And that's another part that we have to honor, that there's just not only one way. There are many ways, many perspectives, because everybody's in their own bubble living their own truth. And no one has the right to try to brainwash or condemn anybody for thinking differently than themselves. God gave us all free will. This universe is free will to be in our own space and think whatever, good, bad, or indifferent, our own perspective of how we navigate our lives. And in that, everybody has a frequency, and you'll bump into each other and learn and grow, and bump into each other and learn and grow. If you want to negate the bumps and make them a little softer, raise your frequency. If you're going to negativity, get it out of your head, and meditate. Do something that you love so you can keep your frequency high. You like to read books if that makes you feel better. And in that, you'll increase that energy battery of love. So this way, as you move throughout your life, throughout your day, you'll carry a higher frequency, and you'll get the right answers, or the right way. You'll open up the trapdoor to get the right energy, the right speech, the way you talk. I talk the way I talk, and some other people talk the way they talk, and the way I speak might relate to some people and may not relate to others, and that's fine. It doesn't make a difference, because the words are one thing, but the energy behind the words is what's really important. Are you speaking from your heart? Are you speaking from your truth and the way you could express it? That's important, right? Or even your thoughts. Are you expressing your thoughts in the way you're receiving them. That's important. Not always just looking at the black and white of things, but looking in deeper. If someone speaks to you in a certain way, most of the time you hear what they're saying, but you feel the energy, and that creates a reaction. That's important. Where does that sit inside of you? So I know this, what I'm saying is all over the place, but I hope I've made the point that energy is everything, and we are all part of this earth, and every human being on this planet, every physical being in an avatar deserves respect and love and compassion. And it starts with first respecting yourself, loving yourself, having compassion for yourself. Start loving yourself, and then when you get yourself right, then you could, then it'll be easier to exchange and deal with these energies when they come at you, because now you're, that frequency that no longer holds of the way you saw yourself. Now you see yourself, you're clearing your own stuff out, and now when someone from a lower vibration comes towards you and interacts with you, you actually see where you were and how they are where you were. And now you can see, okay, I get it. I know where they're coming from. So I'm not going to judge them. I'm gonna keep a higher frequency in myself, and I'm not allowing myself to go down and drop frequency to deal with this issue, right? You'll receive the right words to tell them, and then there's no engagement because you're not allowing it, because you actually see it. I kind of think about it like sometimes I'm into people and they're grown-ups, but to me they're 2-year-olds, right? And they're yapping and trying to start a fight and everything, and I just look at them and that's fine, okay, and I don't give them anything. I'm oozing love out of my heart, out of my energy field. If I receive the right words, and sometimes I don't have them in my head, in my program, so I ask Spirit to help me out to drop in the right thing to write at the same time. It's like I get a download and then I say it, and then it diffuses the whole thing. And that's when, for me, I'm practicing, and I'm been growing and learning to use my higher self to interject in those challenges, so I react in a higher way of being instead of causing damage, right? Instead of causing hate. So I hope that some of this information helps, take what works, and if you need some clarity or you have some questions, just respond online and I'll get back to you. But I'm sincerely getting this information, and I think that it needs to be heard for those who are open to who are searching in these ways to lift up the frequency in their lives, to be more, and try to understand that we are all part of this earth. We are Earthlings, and I just know and feel that in the future there'll be no separations, there'll be no borders, but there'll also be respect. It's hard to see now because then somebody comes in, takes advantage of you, and all this back and forth fighting. We have to get to a place there's enough on the planet for everybody. There's enough resources for everybody. You don't need to be a billionaire and have, I don't know, how many toilets do you need to sit down? How many meals do you need to eat every day? How much beauty you need to be around? It's all ego driven. Come on. It's going to become laughable when we look back at our time now in the future. It's going to be laughable. So I hope this helps. You guys have a wonderful day, and this is my download for the day. Love to all. Love and light.